Well, hello, hello. Happy Pay It Forward Friday. This is Cindy over at Ask Cindy Connector Live. So let me tell you a little bit about my story and how my show got started. Started back in 2017, and it's all about the Pay It Forward and helping other small business owners. It's so important to be passionate about my business, but it's also very important to connect with others, build rapport, and help others grow through my sphere of influence. So today I have Elizabeth Gonzalez from the Financial Architect, and she is absolutely amazing. I met her through a mutual friend. Thank you, Noah, for the connection. And we're also doing a lot of networking together here in Southern California. So after 19 years of a career in the corporate arena, she is helping families getting those trusts done and really planning for a future. Because if you're like me, I'm in my 50s. My mom did not plan for her future, and now I had to fix all this. And Elizabeth helped me with trying to figure what I have to do to move forward. So, Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about what you do and what is your story.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate the opportunity to reach your audience today. I have been in the corporate world for 19 years, as you said, and I've always been entrepreneurial and finally decided I had enough with corporate America and wanted to just control my own destiny and not have any limits on my potential to help people, help businesses, help families. So my ultimate goal is to help educate and empower as many families and as many businesses as possible when it comes to retirement planning and life insurance and making sure their families are protected.
So, tell us what your story is. How a little more in depth on how you got started. You just wanted to try something different.
Yeah, I've always had a side business. I always had that, that ambition to always have my own business. And so a couple of years ago, I ran across my broker, Manny Soto, who I'm so grateful for, and he planted that seed. Having being in the insurance industry is very competitive. But making sure that you really care about the people that you're working with and setting them up with the plan that they can afford and the plan that works for them is really the ultimate goal. So I started dabbling into the insurance business on a part-time basis. And things started moving along and things started changing at the job. And I just decided it was time to make a move. And there's never a time like now. And so I decided to just quit my job after 19 years
Wow.
and move into the insurance business full time.
I want to do a big shout out to Manny, actually, because I was on that Zoom the other day and I did connect with him on Facebook. So thank you, Manny, for doing this and for creating this Zoom that you do every month. It's really good to get information out there and get professionals on there that are helping your clients and your prospects to really get educated on what to do. Because if you're a parent, you really need to think about your children and what's going to happen in your golden years. So tell us, let's talk all about retirement here. Let's start with the trust of the home. That is so important to have a home in a trust before we sell it or before our parent passes away.
Yeah, Cindy, thank you so much. I know you have a personal story and a personal experience, and the reason why you were drawn to this particular subject and making sure that families are protected. And it all starts
Mhm.
with number one, buying a house. A lot of people buy a house and it's their largest debt. It's their prized possession. And a lot of people don't realize that the number one thing they need to do upon purchasing their home is to get a living trust because God forbid something happen and you don't have a living trust, you have a ticket to the court and the probate court. And having a probate court, that is going to cause a lot of delays in getting your estate passed on to your family. And so you want to avoid that. If you have young children, you don't want to leave the fate of your children in the state of the hands of the state. You want to make sure you have that that older sister, older brother, or your aunt, or a family member that you can trust with your children. That might be your desire, but if you don't have a living trust, your children will absolutely go to become a state of a ward of the state, and that's something none of us ever plan on having happen. But if you don't have a living trust, that is exactly what's going to happen. And your family members are going to have to fight and prove that they're actually fit to take care of your children.
Mhm.
So it's very, very important, Cindy. So thank you so much for bringing this topic to, the public, and to, in doing your best to make sure that you bring people on like myself to help inform people. It's absolutely critical to make sure you have a living trust in place. And even if you're not a homeowner, if you have young underage children, it's absolutely imperative as well.
It is, yeah, because I've been speaking to my mother about it for about 20 or 25 years to have a trust. Because now with my personal story, my mom didn't have a trust. She went in convalescent home, and then I had to sell her house, and now the house is in a trust bank account. And then at the end of her life, money that was raised to sell that house is actually going to be used for her care. So if she would have had it in the trust, how does that work? If she had it in the trust before I sold the house?
It's a little complicated to dive into that right now, Cindy. I think the number one thing is, if people have any questions about a living trust, how it works, and the importance of having one established, I would be more than happy to do a free consultation and bring my business partner that actually handles all the intricacies of the trust. All I can say is that I work very close with different estate planning attorneys to make sure that that's set up. And then the life insurance piece goes hand in hand in terms of how to fund the living trust.
So how about other means of retirement? Like, let's talk about the living benefits. That is so, so important. If we get sick later on in life, we really want to have that protection on our insurance.
Yes, Cindy, I'm sure that everyone that's listening to us right now knows someone that has been affected by either a heart attack, a stroke, cancer, or, the most recent pandemic, COVID. I'm sure we all know someone close to us that's been affected by one of those ailments. And the truth is that none of us ever plan to become ill. We don't plan to grow old and become incapacitated. Or I share my very, very personal story about my mom. She had a major car accident 2 years ago and broke her neck. She
Oh,
was on
wow.
her way down the street to get a pedicure, and she didn't plan on getting hit by someone, but she did. And my mom did a phenomenal job in planning because she did have life insurance. But guess what, everyone? She had the old kind of life insurance. So I ask you all there today, if you have life insurance, do you have enough coverage? Have you looked at your policy in the last several years to make sure you have, number one,
Mhm.
enough coverage, and number two, living benefits? Living benefits is a way that you can access money when you're still alive if you ever become incapacitated. And just tying it back to my personal experience with my mom, she was incapacitated. She could not feed herself. She could not walk. She couldn't dress
Wow.
herself. She couldn't bathe herself. So if you are unable to conduct 2 out of your 6 daily living activities, you can tap into your life insurance policy that will actually pay you a monthly amount until you recuperate. There's some stipulations around that. And if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to review your current policy to make sure that you do have these living benefits. Keep in mind, if you've had your policy more than 8+ years, you are most likely you do not have living benefits. My mom's policy would only have paid had she passed away. Thankfully, she did not, but she did not have living benefits. So I cannot stress enough. Let me ask you one question, everyone. Close your eyes for 1 minute. Ask yourself, if I walked out of the door today, I was in a hurry because I had to get to work. I didn't kiss my kids goodbye. I just ran out the door, and you never came back. Would your family be okay? Would your family have enough money to pay the mortgage, to pay the bills, to pay for all those private lessons that they're doing? Ask yourself, if you really care for your family, it's the responsible thing to do is to have insurance. And I want to just touch on this a little bit in terms of cost. People think it's just way too expensive to pay for life insurance. And I can share with you that for $500,000 in coverage, a 35-year-old male would only pay about approximately $78 per month. Cindy, how much did you pay for a night out with drinks with a few girlfriends the last time you went out?
The last time I did that, I
I
was
bet
probably
you
30.
okay. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we all go out and spend $50, $100 on a night out. Why? I mean, why wouldn't you want to protect your family for $78 a month? And let me tell you this, you're never going to be as healthy and as young as you are today. If you wait till you're 5 years older or 10 years older, let me tell you how much that same $500,000 policy will cost you if you wait 10 years. So the 35-year-old male for $500,000 is going to pay $78 per month. Now he decides, I don't need it. I'm going to wait. So he waits till he's 45. Now he's going to pay $177 per month.
Wow. Yeah.
That's just a very simple example of a simple policy that will actually protect your family and at least pay off your mortgage. We're living in sunny Southern California. Your mortgage is not going to be less than $500,000, is it?
Yes, that's crazy. So is there any other tips that we need to know about, or actually, let me talk about somebody just getting out of college or someone who's, say, turning 25 or 30. Really important to start life insurance at that age, because you don't want to wait till you're 60 and then what are you paying, like $400 a month for living benefits?
Yeah, and that's if you can get covered. Now, we all know someone who has been diagnosed with cancer at a young age, or perhaps they have an immunological disease, or something that might render them uninsurable. It happens all the time. So it's important to get covered at a young age because it's going to be a very reasonable premium. You have time to allow your money to accumulate in a permanent policy and develop what's called a supplemental retirement account. So if anybody's interested in just, talking in general about how I can help you start your retirement now, I would love an opportunity to connect with you. I can do a free consultation or evaluation if you currently have a policy. But for those people out there that are young, you have the most precious thing, which is time, which, there's three enemies to your money, right? It's number one, inflation. Number two, taxation. And number three is procrastination, which is the number one enemy that we're all guilty of procrastinating, whether it's procrastinating to go to the gym, procrastinating, taking care of, ourselves from a health perspective. But number one issue is money. People are intimidated by talking about money, and money can be very simple, just basic conversations about, putting away, even if it's $20 a month over 20, 30, 40 years, that the compound of money and compound interest and how that works is amazing. And you will have an additional stream of income. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know about Social Security, or should I say social insecurity.
There's not going to be much left for us, or for me, there's not going to be much.
Exactly. So for those of you who are really counting on Social Security, I don't know if that's really a great idea. And the truth is can you really live off of what, $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month? The cost of living in California is ridiculous. So I would love an opportunity to share more information in detail with each person. Everyone is unique, and everyone's plan is going to be tailored to them.
And it's so important to really realize that I've talked to a lot of people who have life insurance, and that most of the average person actually has it's death insurance. So nothing happens until they pass away. You want something that's going to be able to benefit you while you're living. And also it's a good retirement plan. A lot of the insurance companies, like after 5 years, you could actually borrow against it. You need to get a loan.
Yes. That's for a permanent policy. So it just depends on where you are in life, what your budget is. Really, that's the number one question. What is your budget? What is your goal with your life insurance? I have this term that I've coined it, the three crowns, which is the death benefit. God forbid you pass away unexpectedly. Number two, you have cash value. So for a permanent policy, you're able to accumulate cash and have a supplemental retirement or pull money out if you wish. And then you have the living benefits, which to me is the number one thing. Did you know that there's think if the numbers are correct, 2 out of 4 men will experience a heart attack. There's just the statistics are astounding in terms of how many Americans live with a chronic disease. And a chronic
Yeah.
disease is identified as someone who has to go at least once or twice a year to be checked by a doctor, whether for its diabetes, heart disease, and many Americans are living with at least 2 chronic diseases, which is really difficult. It's a
Yes.
sad thing, but we never plan to get sick. It happens though. It happens to so many people.
So can you tell the audience the two different types of life insurance and,
Yeah,
and
so
what's the best option?
sure. So we have a term policy, which is like renting. So a term
Mhm.
policy can be issued for 20 years or 30 years, and then upon that timeline expiring, you no longer have insurance. So I compare it to renting, where you're renting every month, you pay your rent, and when you leave, and you don't have anything to show for it. Now, that's really a good policy to have if that's all you can afford. However, on the flip side, you have a permanent policy which allows you to have that cash valuation, like a mortgage. You have a mortgage, and over time, your property starts to, your valuation of your property goes up, and you have now equity in your property. And it's the same exact thing. You're going to have equity in your life insurance policy, and that's a long-term investment. It's a long-term deal. And it's going to be with you. Your premium, if you're approved and you're assigned, or you say, you know what, I can pay $100 a month, that will never change. You will pay $100 per month for as long as you have your permanent policy.
But you could change for a higher monthly, so you have a longer retirement, right?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you could, it's a flexible premium. So it all depends on you. And I'll give you one example. I have a client who is going to school right now and working part-time. So he said, I can do $75 right now, but I'm going to graduate in a year. And so we put him on a plan where every year it goes up in terms of his contribution. So in a year, he's going to be contributing 125, and at year 2, he's going to be at 150. So there's a lot of ways. And one thing, if you're working with someone, an agent, keep in mind that you want to make sure that they're providing you with options.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing. I don't ever push a plan on anyone. I always provide them with options. And a lot of times, because I don't like to rush the process, I come back and I say, okay, these are some options based on the conversation we had. And a lot of times when people see the cash value and the potential of that retirement stream, they realize, hey, I think I can probably do a little bit more. And so many times I have a second and sometimes even a third conversation where I'm actually presenting, different numbers to them based on what they saw and what they think they can really do. Here's one question I ask a lot of my clients. If you had a cookie jar in the kitchen and you could put money in there on a weekly basis, how much would you be able to put away? And we kind of start with that, and then we kind of go from there. But it is all customized. So if you're currently working with someone, just remember to screen your agent, make sure that they're giving you options. And something very important, and that I'm very proud to say in working with the financial architect, is that I have options. I am an independent agent. I don't work for any one firm. So it doesn't matter to me what carrier I go with. I have many options that I can share with you. And it doesn't matter if it's National Life Group, if it's AIG, if it's Foresters, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the carrier is a good match with my client. And my number one goal is to match up my client's unique situation and goals with the right
Mhm.
carrier.
Well, what I want to do here at the end of the call, I'm going to do a really quick infomercial. That way we could put it on Instagram. And this is actually for the networking group. So I'm going to open it up. And then if you could talk about the networking group at less than a minute, and then I could promote that for you guys on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. So here we go. Well, hello, guys. This is Cindy at Ask Cindy Connector Live, and I have Elizabeth Gonzalez. Take it away. Tell us about this amazing networking group here in Orange County.
Yeah, so we have a new chapter that's getting started in Orange County, and it's the Business Connections. We are looking for a tax professional, anyone that's really looking to grow their business. If you have all the business that you need and you don't need any more business, then this group is not for you. But anyone who is has their own business, whether it's a construction business, a plumbing business, we are looking for professionals to join our group. So if anyone is interested and open to getting referrals, or they'd like to just be a guest, we would love an opportunity to speak with you. Once again, we're looking for a lot of different professions. So I'm not going to list all of them, but if you have your own business and you could use more business and referrals, please feel free to reach out to me.
That's awesome. Well, I'll go and edit this video and I will send that out to you by Monday. So really quickly, if anyone wants to get a hold of you to get educated on life insurance and how to create a better retirement for their family, what is the best contact? Is it the Instagram page?
They can reach me either via my cell phone, which is 714-600-2509. They can send me an email at elizabeth@protectmyfamilynow.com, or they can also message me on Instagram at Elizabeth Protecting Families.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And so, guys, I just want to tell you, it is so, so important to live every day to the fullest. Show gratitude to people that are in your life. And definitely on Friday, I'm paying it forward to amazing business owners. Next, I'm actually going to talk to Nadia, and she's going to tell us about the upcoming Toys for Tots event. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Cindy, so much. Have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks.